Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today. I work at the University of Navarra. We are constructing a museum here, so I feel it's been in my hometown. The Artist's Reality is the title of the TED Talk that I'm going to give you today. If you think of the title, it's a tricky one. What makes reality from the perspective of an artist different? And the second one, what is the inner reality of someone who is very special, a very special human being, which is the artist? So, first of all, the reality seen from the perspective of the artist and the inner reality of the artist himself or herself. When I was preparing this TED Talk, which is my first TED Talk, and as you can imagine, is a true moment, I thought about different moments in my life and different aspects in art that have been crucial for me. And I thought about the idea of showing to you a video taken from Babette's Feast, a movie that won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Movie in 1987, and which is based on a novel by Karen Blixen. I'm sure that looking into this scene, which is 1 minute scene, you will find some clues that for me are crucial. Let's watch it.
Paris? Ja, ikke noget at vende tilbage til. Alle de borte. Jeg har ikke en penge.
En penge? Jo, men det er 10.000 frank.
Giver du det?
10.000 frank?
En middag 12 au café anglais koster 10.000 frank.
Kære Babette, du skulle da ikke have givet alt, hvad du ejede ud for vores skyld.
Det var ikke alene for deres skyld.
Så bliver du altså fattig nu hele dit liv.
En kunstner aldrig.
So an artist is never poor. This sentence, for me, and since the very first time that I saw this movie, and I've been seeing this movie again and again, and I think I will do this again this weekend with my family. If you think of the sentence, an artist is never poor, and you think about it again and again, you realize that an artist is not poor because he has something. He has a gift, which is the gift of portraying reality. Special gift that some few have, and that takes in relation reality, a point of view of the artist, and the way of portraying reality. So, a special way of seeing things and a special and very special way of representing things. I've been working for the past 15 years, my whole career, dealing with culture, dealing with management of culture, working in museums, working with the management of exhibitions and dealing with artists, dealing with curators, dealing with conservators. I've been talking with many artists, and I usually ask them something. I ask them, why made you draw this drawing? What made you take this photograph? What made you film this film? They usually answer something that for me is truly inspiring. They usually say, I had the necessity of doing it. An artist is not poor. An artist has reality, a reality that he's portraying because he has the sense of being gifted, of having the gift of portraying, the capacity of portraying reality. An artist is never poor. If we go back 20,000 years ago, Lascaux, one of the most famous painting in a cave, Lascaux in France. And if you put yourself in this guy's, and the guy who portrayed this, the guy who drew this picture in a cave, and you think of his feelings or her feelings about what was his or her mission in the world. Did he draw this buffalo a scene, a hunting scene, because he thought that he was special? Did he make this because he had the feeling of being able to do it and the other not? It was just a technical issue of being able to portray? Or was this made in order to communicate? And if you think of the reality of an artist, and if you have ever had the chance of talking to one, they always talk more close to as a philosopher or to a scientist. They have this feeling of being poetic. They have a very special way of looking into things. And I think that if we think of the Lascaux paintings, or if we read here again Karen Blixen in Out of Africa, here I am where I ought to be. An artist has the feeling and has the true feeling of being in the place, in the right place, and doing what he's meant to be. A true confidence in your gift and your mission, which is to portray reality. Diego Velázquez, Las Meninas, one of the most famous painting, almost 18,000 years ahead of the Lascaux paintings. Or if you think of the Goya painting, the dog have submerged, one of my favorite paintings. You notice that they are different, and the Lascaux painting is totally different. But here, if you think of the mission of the artist here, Velázquez, portraying the family of Felipe IV, and if you think there is not just a portrait, it's a scene of a studio, and if you notice that Velázquez is actually portraying us, the canvas that you see here on my left is the canvas that you're not able to see. And actually, you are on the back end, the mirror, where Felipe IV was. Goya, again, he's portraying reality in a certain way. He had the necessity of portraying reality here with a dog. What I want to say is that art is something permanent. You can go 20,000 years ago. You can talk today. You can go 1,000 years ahead, and you will find artists. It's something permanent. It's like science. It's a way of understanding the world. And for me, it's something that is really, really important. We can look to art as something decorative. We can look to art through the vision of a historian, or we can look to art taking into account that this is something that has to do with humankind. Mark Rothko, probably one of the best well-known artists of our era, born in Latvia at the beginning of the 20th century and moved to the US when he was almost 10 years old. No word of English when he arrived to Oregon. He was able to get a grant from Yale University. And he became later one of the most important artists of our era. You see here an abstract painting. You see here just color. And you can say, this is abstraction. This is just the color. And you can think, and if you go beneath that, and if you read Rothko, and as I have been doing for many years, and you find a writing that actually a conference that he delivered at the Pratt Institute in 1958 in New York. He delivered a recipe for making a true work of art. And if you read here the different aspects that he mentions as essential to make a work of art, from sensuality to irony, to wit, to play, to humor, to chance, to hope. I think it's great. Rothko also mentioned something magical for me. He said, art for me is an anecdote of the spirit. So art is a gift. The artist feels gifted, and he wants to throw that back to the public. He also talked about silence. We all know that art is difficult to understand. If you go to the Velázquez, Meninas, you can imagine that it's very easy to understand the picture. But if you get into the picture and you really study it, it's as difficult as understanding the Rothko. If you go to the Goya, or even if you go to the Lascaux painting, silence, pockets of silence where to root and grow is essential. And finally, Rothko in 1952, he was talking with a student, the first student who wrote a PhD on abstract expressionism, the movement of Rothko. And he told him at his last interview, I want to put you back in. I want you to be in the canvas. I want you to be in the artwork. An artist is never poor. And throughout my life, I've had the chance of being close to artists. I feel honored and I feel proud of this exchange and these dialogues that I've been maintaining with many artists. And I feel, and I truly feel that art enables us to transform reality. I invite you to be close to artists. I truly believe that looking into the artwork, having silence, imagining your own reality, thinking about your spirit, thinking about what made this artist portray reality in this way. What can I learn from that reality? I'm sure that all of you, as viewers, and us as viewers, can enrich our life being close to art. Thank you.